Most people treat their home like a gas station. They rush in, refuel, sleep, and immediately start planning the next escape. Another brunch, another party, another weekend commitment they'll spend half their energy dreading and the other half performing at. They're exhausted, but they can't stop. The calendar stays full because emptiness feels like failure. Then there's you. You cancel plans and feel relief wash over you like cold water. Friday night at home isn't settling. It's winning. And everyone keeps telling you this makes you boring, antisocial, that you're missing out on life. Stay with me because what I'm about to show you flips that narrative completely. You're not broken. Your brain is just wired for something the majority will never understand. There's actual research on this. It's called sensory processing sensitivity, and it affects roughly 15 to 20% of the population. Dr. Elaine Aron spent decades studying this, and neuroimaging studies back it up. Certain people have nervous systems that run at higher baseline cortical arousal. Your brain is already more activated at rest than the average person's. Here's what that means. While extroverts need external stimulation to reach optimal functioning, like a car engine that needs revving to perform, your brain is already idling at higher RPM. Social situations don't energize you. They push you past your red line into overstimulation territory. This isn't a personality flaw. This is neurology. Your preference for home isn't avoidance. It's your nervous system protecting its optimal operating range. This leads us to the first major reason why your preference for home isn't just valid. It's ancestrally advantageous. In early human environments, survival required two distinct types of people. You had the explorers, the risk-takers who ventured into unknown territory, made first contact, and pushed boundaries. They got the glory in the stories we tell, but here's what those stories don't mention. Most of them died. Predators, hostile tribes, miscalculated risks. The explorers were necessary, but they were also expendable. Then you had the sentinels, the ones who stayed, who observed, who processed information deeply and maintained the safe haven everyone else relied on. These were the people who noticed the subtle shift in animal behavior before the storm hit, who tracked seasonal patterns and resource cycles, who created the stable home base that allowed communities to survive winters, droughts, and threats. They weren't avoiding adventure. They were ensuring there was something to come back to. Think about ant colonies or wolf packs. Not everyone scouts. The individuals who guard the den, who maintain the territory, who process environmental data and keep the home secure. They're just as crucial to survival as the hunters. More crucial, actually, because without them, there's no colony to return to. You're descended from the sentinels, not the scouts. Your nervous system still carries that blueprint. And here's where it gets interesting, because the biology goes deeper than just preference. It's about how your brain actually generates satisfaction. The majority operates on what neuroscientists would call a stimulus hunger model. Their dopamine baselines drop quickly without external input. They need constant hits of novelty, social validation, environmental stimulation. It's not a choice. Their neurochemistry creates a persistent craving for the next thing. Your brain works differently. You function more like a deep processing reactor. You generate sustained cognitive engagement from internal experiences. Reading a book isn't filler activity. It's legitimate neural satisfaction. Developing a skill, thinking through a complex problem, building something in solitude. These aren't what you do when nothing better is available. They're primary sources of meaning. Here's the analogy. Their brain is like a solar panel. It needs constant external light to generate energy. Bright, loud, stimulating light. Your brain is more like a nuclear reactor. You generate power from internal processes, and adding too much external fuel doesn't create more energy. It causes meltdown. That post-social exhaustion you feel isn't weakness. It's overstimulation trying to force a reactor beyond capacity. There's also a serotonin and cortisol factor here. Social interaction for you isn't just energy expenditure. It's stress hormone activation. Your nervous system treats crowds and small talk the way other people's bodies treat a near-miss car accident. Adrenaline, cortisol, elevated heart rate. Then you need recovery time. Solitude isn't isolation in your case. It's recalibration. Your brain literally needs that downtime to regulate neurotransmitters back to baseline. But wait, it gets deeper. Because now we need to flip the script entirely and ask the uncomfortable question, who actually has the problem here? People who cannot stay home are demonstrating something psychology has a name for: external locus of validation. Every social interaction becomes a dopamine hit they're chasing. They can't self-soothe. They can't generate internal contentment. They fill every moment with noise because sitting alone with their own thoughts feels unbearable. That's not connection. That's dependence. What society calls being social is often just socially acceptable escapism. They're not building deep relationships. They're collecting shallow interactions like trading cards, never staying in one place long enough to know who they actually are. There's status anxiety woven through all of it, constantly performing for an imaginary audience, proving they're wanted, liked, included. Meanwhile, you've developed something they haven't: emotional self-sufficiency, the ability to be genuinely present without already planning the next thing. Deep focus capabilities because your attention isn't fragmented across 47 social obligations. And when you do connect with people, it's authentic. Quality over quantity. You're not networking, you're actually relating. Think of it this way: they're building houses on borrowed land, constantly needing external proof they belong somewhere. You own your own land. The foundation is internal. That's not loneliness, that's sovereignty. But biological wiring is only part of the story. Because choosing to stay home in a culture that worships busyness and constant availability, that's actually a quiet form of rebellion. You're refusing to participate in the attention economy that commodifies every moment of your existence. While everyone else is optimizing their social calendar like it's a stock portfolio, you're opting out of the entire performance. You're not playing the game of proving your worth through visibility. And this connects to something most people miss. There's something almost subversive about a person who doesn't need constant external validation to feel whole. You're not participating in the endless cycle of broadcasting and consuming, of curating and performing. You exist independent of observation. That's not introversion, that's sovereignty. In a world where everyone is constantly available, constantly online, constantly proving they're living their best life, you've retained something increasingly rare: the ability to simply be, not produce, not perform, just exist in your own space on your own terms. That's not missing out. That's radical self-possession. You are not antisocial. You are not flawed. You are not wasting your life. You're operating on a different neurological baseline that evolved for specific survival advantages. Depth over breadth, internal stability over external validation, sentinel awareness over explorer recklessness. Your preference for home isn't a limitation. It's selective optimization. You're not avoiding life. You're refusing to mistake busyness for meaning. If this resonated with you, there's a good chance you have this next trait too. Click on the video that just popped up. You'll understand why.